Hi, this is your Airbnb specialist, and in this video, I'm going to talk about Airbnb versus VRBO. The first key difference to note is on Airbnb, you can list a shared space, which means if you're living in the house and you just want to rent a spare room in your house, you can list it on Airbnb, but VRBO doesn't. VRBO only allows entire properties, entire places, whereas on Airbnb you can also list shared space. That's the first difference. The second difference is VRBO you will find is difficult to navigate. The website is difficult to navigate as compared to Airbnb. Even creating a listing can be very daunting on VRBO. Lots of options are scattered around the website, whereas on Airbnb they've designed it very well. They keep improving it. Airbnb you will see they take you through a guided setup, but on VRBO it is slightly complicated, especially when it comes to setting up your cancellation policies and your damage deposit. It's very difficult to find where those options are. I have done a video before on how to create a listing on VRBO. I will drop a link in the description below. Please follow that link if you want to understand how to create a listing on VRBO. Both the websites let you choose who comes to stay in your property. They both have an instant booking option, which you can turn on and off, but Airbnb gives you one extra option on top of that. In Airbnb, you can choose two more options along with instant booking, which lets you choose people should have their ID verified by Airbnb and they should have stayed on Airbnb previously with a positive remark from the previous guest. You can add those two options on top of instant booking on Airbnb. On VRBO, whether it is only on or off, you do not have more options. The next difference is cancellation. On VRBO, cancellation is super easy, right? You can press a button and they will never give you any grief about canceling. Obviously, they will take you through options. They will try and give you warnings like your listing is going to go down in search ranking and all that. But there are no financial implications of canceling a booking. They even release your calendar open again, and then you can rebook it again on some other website or even on VRBO. Whereas Airbnb penalizes you for any cancellation. It is not very easy to cancel bookings. They give you 3 cancellations every year free if you're an instant booking host, but it is very difficult after those 3 bookings. If you start canceling people, there will be financial penalties, there will be search ranking implications. In summary, it is very easy to cancel on VRBO, but on Airbnb it is not. The next difference is $1 million insurance. Airbnb gives you $1 million insurance for any liability claim as well as any damage to your property caused by the guest, whereas VRBO only gives you a liability insurance, not a damage insurance, which is key. You get more safety on Airbnb as compared to VRBO, which leads to my next point. Damage deposit on Airbnb is purely for the guest. It doesn't increase or decrease the level of protection for you because you're anyway covered by Airbnb's $1 million insurance. But it is hugely important on VRBO because you do not have that insurance safety net on VRBO. So my advice would be, if you're listing a property on VRBO, keep your damage deposit to a reasonably high level because there is no other safety net. Very important. But on the other hand, it is very easy to claim damage on VRBO. Let's say if you had set $500 on your property, you can just press the button. You do not even need to provide any photographs or any other evidence. They simply remit the money to you. Very unreasonable if you look at it from the guest perspective, but that is how it works. So damage deposit is very easy to claim on VRBO. You can almost exploit that opportunity if someone wanted to. But whereas on Airbnb, it is very complicated. You have to go through the resolution process. The guest will get a chance to contest that if they want to. Airbnb will review all the documents. They will want to see the invoice of the repair or replacement, those kind of things. So in summary, damage deposit is very easy to claim on VRBO, but on Airbnb it is not. The next difference is the website and app. Airbnb app and the website are very easy to understand. They are very intuitive. You will almost find your way out for anything you're looking for. But on VRBO, it is extremely complicated. You will almost struggle every day to see the latest messages from the guest. It gets very complicated if you have multiple properties on VRBO. They do not give you that unified view of your bookings or your calendar or your inbox. Whereas Airbnb is perfectly designed for having multiple properties. You can have a unified view of the calendar. You can see all your messages in one inbox, but unfortunately on VRBO you cannot. The next key difference is the host commission. Airbnb charges you flat 3% on your nightly rate. So if your property was for $100 per night, you will be paid $97. Whereas VRBO is much higher. They charge 5% commission on every booking, plus there is a 3% card processing fee which is charged on the overall booking, which can be significantly higher than 3% effectively if you look at the cleaning fee and other bits off. So roughly VRBO charges 8% from the host and Airbnb charges 3%, which is very cheap. But if you look at it from the guest perspective, Airbnb charges a huge amount from the guest. They charge almost 12 to 18% from the guest, whereas VRBO charges about 10 to 15% from the guest. If you compare both the properties, if you list your property on both the websites and then you finally compare where the guest pays less, you will find VRBO is cheaper than Airbnb because Airbnb charges a lot to the guest. So they get the property for a slightly higher price. The next difference is on Airbnb, when you list your property, it stays on Airbnb, no other website. It doesn't have any other associated child websites where it gets automatically published. But on VRBO, they have a vast network of small and big websites. For example, Expedia is the first one. You can create your listing on VRBO and then it automatically in the background, they will publish the listing on Expedia as well. And there were hundreds other smaller websites which it automatically gets published to. You will never have to deal with all the other child websites. You will still keep receiving bookings from the main VRBO website, but in the background, it will actually be publishing it on different websites. You can even see your link to Expedia listing under the property details sections. I have created a video for that. You can go into my channel and look for that. I will also try and drop a URL for that on how to find your Expedia link for your property on VRBO. The next difference is on Airbnb, you can upload as many photos as you want, but on VRBO, you can upload only 50 photos at max, which can be quite difficult if you have a huge property and if you want to show all different aspects, different views from every window. You cannot do that within just 50 photos. So it's a huge negative in my opinion. 50 can be less sometimes. The next difference is on Airbnb, you can charge cleaning fee only per stay. So if you're charging $100 cleaning fee, there's no other option. You cannot charge it per night, which can be quite expensive for people who are especially coming for just for one night. They pay $100 to $100 cleaning fee, and if someone is coming for 7 days, they also pay $100 for the cleaning fee, which can be quite expensive. Whereas on VRBO, it lets you choose. You can choose a cleaning fee per night as well, so it becomes more manageable for people who are coming for short stays. They can choose for 3 nights. You can charge every night $10, and then it will charge automatically based on the nights they're booking for. But at the same time, it becomes more trickier because your cleaner is always going to go there and spend the same amount of time cleaning the linen and everything. That's why Airbnb has kept it simple. You just charge a fixed amount for every stay. It doesn't matter how many nights they're coming from. But on VRBO, you can choose that if you want to. The next positive feature about VRBO is you can actually charge an extra pet fee. Whereas on Airbnb at this point in time, in 2021, you cannot charge a pet fee on Airbnb. Whereas on VRBO, you can charge a pet fee. It can be per night or per stay. VRBO lets you choose that, but it's a very good thing. I think Airbnb should consider having that on their platform as well. The next difference is payment options. On Airbnb, you have no control or visibility of how the guest is paying. You just get paid 24 hours after the guest checks in. Whereas on VRBO, you can still give options to the guest, which is kind of silly because you still get paid when the right time comes, irrespective of the payment options you give the guest. But you can still choose multiple payment options. You can choose to have, they can pay 25% at the time of booking, and they can pay the rest 75% within X number of days of their arrival. You can choose those options. You can give more flexibility to people on VRBO, but you will still be paid on time as usual, which is the same as Airbnb. VRBO releases the payment 24 hours after the guest check-in, and you receive it within 5 to 7 working days. On Airbnb, you receive the payment quickly. On VRBO, it takes a bit of time. The next one is cancellation policy. Airbnb offers a more relaxed cancellation policy. The most flexible cancellation policy on Airbnb you can choose is 24 hours cancellation policy. People can cancel just before 24 hours and they will get 100% refund. Whereas on VRBO, the most relaxed cancellation policy is 7 nights. People have to give you a 7 days notice before they can cancel. Otherwise, they do not get a refund. And the next difference is on VRBO, you can upload your own rental agreement, and VRBO will make sure the guest accepts that rental agreement. Whereas on Airbnb, you cannot have your own rental agreement. There is one rental agreement everyone signs under when they book a property on Airbnb. If you want to see what that rental agreement is, you cannot find it on a website because it is not called rental agreement. You will need to go to terms section. Just scroll to the bottom of any Airbnb page. You will see a terms section. Go under the terms section, and that explains everything about the policies and the terms and conditions for guest and the host. I hope you find this video useful. Please do like and subscribe to my channel. That will encourage me to make more such videos. Until next time, bye-bye.